Jerome Corsi is a liar. He is a proven liar. He was the first to lie about President Obama's birth certificate, a lie that captivated Donald Trump. Jerome Corsi co-wrote a book of lies about John Kerry's service in Vietnam aimed at harming the Kerry presidential campaign in 2004. The men who served with John Kerry in Vietnam regarded him as a hero and joined him during his presidential campaign. But Jerome Corsi's book pushed the lie that John Kerry was not a hero. The Book of Lies was written to make money for Jerome Corsi and to help the Bush presidential campaign. And so Jerome Corsi is a proven professional liar, someone who lies in the normal course of his profession. The question tonight is, did he lie under oath? Jerome Corsi himself apparently believes that he did lie under oath and believes that he is going to be prosecuted for perjury. After granting an interview to NBC News today in which he predicted that he would be indicted by Robert Mueller, Jerome Corsi decided then to tell the world, or a small world, in his daily live stream on YouTube.
I fully anticipate that in the next few days I will be indicted by Mueller for some form or other of giving false information to the special counsel or to one of the other grand jury, or however they want to do the indictment. The way this game of perjury trap is played, it's impossible. Within the first 20 minutes, you've got a perjury trap. You can't remember. But I'm going to be indicted. That's what we're told. And everyone should know that.
Joining us now, Ken Delaney, an intelligence and national security reporter for NBC News. Also joining us, Ron Klain, the former chief of staff to Vice Presidents Joe Biden and Al Gore, and a former senior aide to President Obama. And Ken Delaney, you broke this news first at NBC News about his belief that he's going to be indicted. What is this based on?
Well, Lawrence, he's saying it's a perjury trap. And, of course, many people have been saying tonight that there's no such thing as a perjury trap. Prosecutors don't charge people for lying when they have a faulty memory. They charge people when they have evidence that they intentionally and willfully misled either the FBI or the grand jury. And that's what it looks like is going on here. We reported a couple of weeks ago that Mueller's team obtained all of Corsi's communications as part of their investigation into Roger Stone, where, don't forget, they've dragged about 9 or so of Roger Stone's associates to the grand jury. And as part of that, they were looking at Corsi, and they found a communication that appeared to suggest that Corsi had advanced knowledge that WikiLeaks had obtained John Podesta's email in the summer of 2016, before this was publicly known. Now, Corsi's story about this email is that it wasn't any back channel that he had to WikiLeaks. He just intuited. He made an educated guess that WikiLeaks had Podesta's email, and they were holding on to it for an October surprise. This is a offense to no one, and it appears that Robert Mueller is now prepared to charge Corsi with either lying or perjury. And we should also note, Lawrence, that prosecutors don't take witnesses before the grand jury as a matter of course in an investigation. You can interview people with the FBI. They take people before the grand jury to lock in their story, often when they're concerned about their credibility, when they want to make sure they're telling the truth. And it looks like in this case, Corsi is telling us he believes he ran afoul of that process and is going to be charged with lying.
And Ron Klain, there is a dilemma here because Jerome Corsi is a public professional liar, pathological liar, tells lies that are instantly provable as lies. So he could be lying that he believes he's going to be indicted in order to get some form of glory within the cult within which he lives.
Yeah, Lawrence, this is like that hardest question on a standardized test where the man who always lies tells you he's lying and you have to figure out if that's true or false. I mean, I think there's a real motive for him to lie about how much he's been lying and whether or not he's been caught in his lying, and that is he's also raising money. He's raising money for what he calls a legal defense fund, but who knows, it could just be another profit-making shakedown for Jerome Corsi. As you said, he profited from the blood libel against John Kerry, a hero in the Vietnam War, by spreading untrue things about Senator Kerry's service in the presidential campaign to make Jerome Corsi money. So who knows if this is a profit-motivated thing now. But at the underlying it all, though, is a really serious issue, which is, did Corsi, and more importantly, did Roger Stone, know about the WikiLeaks before they became public? And on that core thing, the evidence is mounting. It's been mounting over the course of the Mueller investigation, and the idea that the Trump campaign, people close to Donald Trump, knew WikiLeaks had this information, coordinated with them about the release. People should never forget, the first WikiLeaks dump came the same day of the Access Hollywood. That's not a coincidence. The Trump campaign may well have coordinated with them through Stone and Corsi, and that's really what's at stake here.
And Ken Delaney and Corsi said today that he doesn't, to the best of his recollection, is the way he put it, to the best of his recollection, I never met Julian Assange. I gotta say, that would be something that would be pretty hard to forget.
I think you would remember it, Lawrence. I would remember it. Ron would remember it. Yeah, that's a very lawyerly phrase. You know, Roger Stone also used a series of lawyerly phrases when he was talking to us today about this, where he said, hey, look, it's possible that prosecutors could string together a set of circumstances and put it before the grand jury and get a weak indictment. Those are not the kind of indictments that Robert Mueller has been bringing. If they have Corsi on perjury, I think we can expect that they have solid evidence. But I also believe we're not seeing the full picture here because, as Ron said, the real game here is Mueller is trying to establish a chain between Russia and WikiLeaks and the Trump campaign. And it wouldn't be illegal for Corsi to have advanced knowledge that WikiLeaks had the emails. He would have to have known that they were stolen and potentially that the Russians had hacked them for this to play an important role in the ultimate goal of the Mueller investigation. And that's the evidence we're not seeing. We're only learning about this through witnesses and defendants. We don't know everything that Mueller has here.
Ron Klain, I want to switch to your old position at the Justice Department. We have a statement tonight from the Justice Department, a spokesperson, Kerry Kupek, saying this about Matt Whitaker. Acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker is fully committed to following all appropriate processes and procedures at the Department of Justice, including consulting with senior ethics officials on his oversight responsibilities and matters that may warrant recusal. What's your reaction to that, Ron?
You know, the procedure he should follow is not be acting attorney general. I mean, in the history of this country, there's been a process for replacing the attorney general. There's a vacancy there. That process is both statutory and constitutional. And what the Constitution does not allow is someone who does not fill a Senate-confirmed position from being attorney general. And that's why Trump's designation of him as acting attorney general is inappropriate and unconstitutional. He knows that. He must know that. Lawyers must be telling him that. And conservative lawyers have said that. Liberal lawyers have said that. Lawyers of all stripes have said that. He has no place in that office. And until he leaves that office, the actions of the attorney general will be suspect. The actions of the department will be suspect. That's a big problem.
Now, Ron, didn't Matt Whitaker have your old job at the Justice Department? You were chief of staff to the attorney general, Janet Reno.
I was, and the idea that they could have made me attorney...
Did you know then that you were next in line for the attorney general?
I knew for sure I was not, and the idea that anyone could have just slotted me in there without Senate confirmation would have been laughable at the time. It's laughable today, except for the fact that it's so sad. Trump's trying so hard to cover himself on this Mueller investigation. He's really overreached with this Whitaker appointment.
Well, I've known Ron Klain a long time, and I'm here to say that Matt Whitaker is no Ron Klain. Ken Delaney and Ron Klain, thank you for joining us tonight.